Welcome to Grand Canyon University's Canyon Professional Development. We are going to briefly discuss, should SEL be considered during multi-tiered systems of support? Let's look at the history of MTSS. Positive Behavioral Intervention and Supports, PBIS, was first called for in the 1997 reauthorization of the Individuals with Disability Education Act, or IDEA. In 2004, Response to Intervention was introduced with the reauthorization of IDEA. Finally, in 2015, with the Elementary and Secondary Education Every Student Succeeds Act, the multi-tiered system of supports was called for and put into place. Positive behavior intervention and supports is a response to the exclusion of students with disabilities from educational opportunities due to their behaviors. This shifted to a school-wide system approach once it became evident how the interventions and instructional strategies would benefit all students. The Reauthorization Act allowed for the creation of a national center on PBIS. The framework calling for teaching and supporting the social-emotional learning of all students. This also called for data-driven, tier evidence-based interventions and progress monitoring. This was followed by the implementation of RTI. This was in response to the increasing number of students being referred to special education with a specific learning disability. Many referrals were considered preventable if evidence-based interventions had been used. RTI was not mandated, therefore it means it was not funded, but it allowed for the implementation of interventions prior to a child being referred to special education. It allowed for students who needed instructional supports to stay in the general education setting. There is no universal definition of RTI. It simply called for using evidence-based interventions with struggling students. Finally, in 2015, we had MTSS put into place. And this was calling for the system of supports for literary services. The system of tiered supports that uses data to determine what academic, social, emotional, and behavioral interventions students may need based on assessment. Keep that in mind. There's no one definition of MTSS. And again, similar to RTI and PBIS, it says it should be data-driven, evidence-based intervention should be used, it should involve progress monitoring, and it should involve all stakeholders. It should focus on the whole child and all children. And when I say all children, that means we don't just focus on children who are struggling, but we also focus on children who need additional enrichment activities. Sometimes behaviors can be the result of struggling academically. Sometimes they can be the result of being bored. Some thoughts to ponder. Revisit your campus and personal why. Reflect on PBIS, RTI, and MTSS. Then ask yourself, do you think students would benefit from SEL being a part of your campus MTSS? Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you'll subscribe to our channel for continuing education. And if you would like customized professional development, please contact us here.